What's up, everyone? This is Meek, and you're on my yoga mat with me, and we're going to be talking about some important stuff today. I'm here to just tell you that you need to put yourself out there. So, I have 10 reasons why you should post that crappy cover. You know, why you should post that crappy guitar cover that you think is crappy, because it's not really crappy, but I'm calling it crappy because that's how we talk to ourselves. You know what I mean? So, you need to post that cover song because of these reasons. So I got 10 reasons for you. And after this video, you're going to be encouraged to put your covers out because they should be out here. You should be out here. You should be having a ritual of doing covers weekly, daily, if you have the time. So let's get into it. So the first reason, of course, is going to be number one, because of practice. Practice is like the most important thing we're going to ever do as musicians. It's a thing we're going to spend the most time doing. It's a thing we should spend the most time doing to always hone our craft, to always get more comfortable with our instrument, to always get more comfortable singing on spot. To do that, you have to practice. You have to be at your craft at like so many hours, right? So when you're planning to do like a cover video for a guitar or even a song cover, you're going to keep practicing that song over and over. It's just inevitable. It comes with it, right? So before like I learn a song, I gotta break it down, right? I gotta figure out the key of it. I gotta figure out what minor scale works with it, what major, what's the relative. You gotta figure out all that type of science, right? So when you're spending that much time doing it, you're going to become a better player. And that's going to, of course, come through on your videos, and you may not see it like right away, you know what I mean? So that's why it's the most important thing, because you're going to be inevitably getting more time at practicing. You also begin to cultivate a practice that benefits you and work best for you. So what I mean by that is basically that you're going to figure out how you practice best. Like for me personally, I know that if I'm learning like a song like from a record, like a pop song that I like, I'll go on YouTube and I'll have it at a certain percentage, the speed time, right? So I have mine at 75% all the time. It used to be just at 50% because I learned slower and I didn't know music theory. And this is just this January, you know? So I've actually came a long way because I've been doing it a lot. Like before, I couldn't play a song by ear, like I couldn't transcribe. But now, like it's so easy for me, like it's scary. You know what I mean? So I've cultivated a practice for myself though. Like I know that I have to practice in the daytime, and I usually record at night. Now, sometimes, things can shift up, but that's just what works best for me. Something that I also learned that works best for me when I practice a song is I use headphones. That may seem small, but some people can play with the song playing on speaker. I learned that don't really work for me. I need to be like ensconced in this world of just sound, and I just need to feel like I'm a part of it. So I learned that works best for me. Usually when I was just teaching chords, I just had a song playing on speaker and I would just learn like that. I just pick it up like that. But I know for transcribing, that works best for me with the headphones on, okay? And I also learned that turning my guitar down actually helps me to hear what I'm doing more with the song. Like say for instance, if the singer is singing, I'll turn my guitar lower than their voice and I'll hear if I'm playing it right or wrong. You know what I mean? So I learned that works best for me. That may work best for other people too as well, but I didn't know how to practice. I didn't know how to practice, is what I'm saying. I didn't know how to practice, so I learned how to practice by always practicing. Okay? So you got to make things a part of your life, and the more you start practicing guitar, the more second nature that it will be. Singing too as well. So it just becomes second nature. Number two is progress tracking. When you do post your cover, say on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, you get to see your journey, and you allow other people to see your journey and to be a part of that journey. Like you can go back and okay, so if you started posting covers last year and you're still posting covers now, you can go back to last year and see like where you have grown at. progress tracking is my second reason because it's always good to see how far you've come. You know what I mean? Before, I couldn't play at all. I had no musical, what do you call it? I wasn't musically inclined, like at all. I loved it. I understood the emotion of it, but I didn't understand the science and the technicality. And because of that, you can see that in my old videos where I'm just playing chords and playing notes, but I didn't know that, there was things, scales and keys. I didn't know those were things. You know what I mean? So that's why it's so important, because now I can see that, like, I understand it. Not only do I understand it, I'm teaching others how to understand it, and I'm also teaching them how to teach themselves. So because I didn't know stuff, I okay, before I didn't know anything, so I understand the mind of a person that doesn't understand guitar. I understand that you thinking that telling them this is a B string is simple because that's simple to you because you play guitar. No, it's not. They have to know it by number first, and then you teach, the notes, depending on the student. But I'm best at working with people who have no understanding with the guitar. Like, I like them. I want them. I like to show them how simple it is, how to understand it. So my third reason is moving on. Moving on is so important with everything in life. I had to learn that, and I learned it the hard way sometimes, okay? I gonna unpack a lot of trauma here. When you finish a cover and you post it, you're going to move on. That's just what comes with it. You're going to move on to the next song. You're going to be looking for your next cover, okay? So that is so important, because when you move on to the next song, therefore, you put yourself in position to learn more songs, okay? So it's always good to learn more songs, because you're going to be innately learning new styles. You're going to be learning just how to use keys, how to move throughout scales, because, some songs are just more technically musically savvy than others. Some songs are just simple pop songs. My first song that I learned on guitar was a 5 Days of Summer song. Now I'm learning George Benson songs. You know what I mean? Not saying that I'm anywhere near finishing it, but that's another story. But before, I would have never had even tried to do that. Like, I only had the capacity to learn a pop song like a 5 Seconds of Summer song, And that wasn't too long ago, maybe just like 5 or 6 years ago. So now I'm here, and I didn't start when I was a kid, you know what I mean? And I have people that love what I do, and I love what I do as well. And that's only because I put myself out there, and they saw what I was doing, and people really see the heart of you doing what you love. And they can only see that if you have like a repertoire or a resume of things you have done, and those can be your covers. That can be your YouTube channel. That can be your Instagram feed. You can make another Instagram channel. You can do what you want to do, but I'm here to encourage you to put your videos out and up. And it don't matter how good you are or how good you think you're not or don't think you are. You know what I mean? Like, just put them out there. Like, stop being so... It's egotistical. It's like you think because you aren't at a certain level that, like, you don't want to put it out because it's not good enough, and you want people to praise you, so you feel like if they're not praising you, that it's not good enough for you, because they're not going to be overly critical. So that has to be, the other thing. So don't be an egotistical jerk to yourself, okay? And we've all been, egotistical, which is a part of, the human experience, and the ego is something to be managed, trained, and be major, okay? You don't let it control you. You control it, okay? And to add on to our number 3, I also want to talk about how you gain stamina. You gain stamina when you practice. The more you practice, the more stronger your brain becomes. Like, the more easier it'll be for you to remember, songs. That'd be the thing. That's the only, like, that's one of the reasons why we mess up during a cover is because we forget a note or something like that, right? But once you start playing more, those things will just fade, not immediately, but less and less and less. Like when I first started playing covers, you can look on my channel right now. I think I posted my first transcribing cover to SWV's What's It's Gonna Be. And I was playing it. And I could only play the verse or something like that. Like it was just too overwhelming for me to learn the I could only play the chorus. Okay. So when I was learning the SWV song, I could only play the chorus. I couldn't play the verse. It was just too overwhelming. And I barely got through the chorus, you know what I'm saying? And I had it at a certain speed too. Or maybe, I don't know, I don't think I did, but I cut that part out. But yeah, so I could only play just a small bit of the song. And if you will look at more of my covers from earlier this year, I was maybe only playing like the first verse of each song. I couldn't do the chorus because first of all, it would be hard for me to even switch into the chorus from the verse because I had to figure out what notes, and it was just a lot to like do. It took me so long to even learn the song. It took me like days, but now it take me a few hours, and that don't mean I'm playing it perfect, but I learned the notes in that amount of time. So now I'm working on just being able to play just super easily, with ease and with grace and without tension in my body, and with also being overly self-conscious of like, how am I looking right now, or anticipating each note. You know what I mean? Like when you're playing, you're like, oh, I gotta play this part. This part always messes me up. So in your head, you're thinking that while you're playing. So when you get to that part, you like, oh, I hope like I didn't mess up, and like I don't want to have to deal with that type of stuff. So that's what I'm working on, and I'm putting my covers out there. I don't care because I know I'm gonna be great, and I still want people to be a part of my journey. I don't want this to be like I don't want to just. It's not a celebrity thing. I don't want to be praised. I want to be a part of community, And when you do put your covers up, that's what you're doing. You're becoming a part of a community of cover artists, of guitarists, of musicians who are dedicated to music, of musicians who are dedicated to learning, and you know what I mean, like that. So you expand your network beyond just your family's liking your post and sending it to your grandma, which is sweet too. Okay. So number 4 is do not be afraid of letting other people see that you are trying. That came from Evelyn from the internet. When she said that, she put it in one of her videos, it just changed my life. Like, it changed me because don't be afraid to let people see you trying. Like, that is such a vulnerable thing, to let people see that you're not, like, maybe you're not perfect, maybe you're not at pro level, but you're working towards that, and they can see that you're working towards that. And what comes with that is a lot of struggle. What comes with that is a lot of instability, in the sense that some days you're good, some days you're not, and you're putting yourself out there for people to see all of this. Like, it's so vulnerable, but it's so necessary, and people will know to come to you for that thing. Okay, you may think that that's nothing, right? So if you're the person that's on Instagram always posting guitar videos, you're going to be that person that people think of when they think of who plays the guitar. You setting yourself up for opportunities and you don't even realize it. That person probably will say, well, we need somebody to play this song for our next gig, and they're going to pay you, and they're going to come right to you. I've had that happen to me so many times, like great artists, you know what I mean, that consider me when they need a guitarist. Excuse me. Don't forget to water yourself and your plants, okay? But yeah, so like, you don't even know that when you are putting your covers out, you are sowing seeds, and you will reap what you sow. I ain't here to preach, but it's so true. You reap what you sow. If you don't sow nothing, you get nothing. And then when you don't sow nothing, you put yourself in a position to have to persuade people to believe in you. when you've been putting seeds down, people can see that you're going to have plants later. But if you don't, you'll have to convince people that you have plants. Let people see that you're trying. And like I said, you just set yourself up for just the future. You also just, it becomes part of your image. Like, I'm sure the guitar is a part of my image now because I put so many covers up. I'm not even a professional musician. Technically, I'm not. But people probably got in their mind, like when they think of guitars, they probably think of me and Prince. You know what I mean? Just because I'm always with my guitars. So it's like a sprinkle of magic over people. Our fifth reason is you'll have a lot of material under your belt. So let's say, for instance, you're a singer that does cover songs, you're a guitarist that does cover songs, and somebody said, let's go busk, because I want to do that. I want to start busking. You'll have songs to pull from because you've practiced so much and you've did so many covers. You can go and bust on the street and get tip money. You already have a set list. Somebody can book you for a show and you're going to be ready. At least you're going to have like material to look back from. Like, okay, I want to cover these songs that I already put up. You can go back and, you know, look at them, and your memory is going to be refreshed that much more easier than having to sit down and relearn some songs. And then, you know what I mean? So you have more stuff under your belt. Also, because you have so many different songs under your belt, it's just going to add so much more to your style and your sauce, and you're just going to find your sound. The more you do, the more you get, okay? And the more you know, the more you grow, right? Any artist could hit me up and I'd be good with them because I play so many different styles, and I struggled through these songs practicing them that I figured out how to play them correctly and also play them correctly to where it's true to me, and I'm able to, you know, express my own emotion, and I'm able to compliment what that person has going on. And because also that I have so many songs under my belt, I can now communicate better with other artists that's in a different genre than me. I get what they're doing because I've I've studied a song by artists that's similar, well, not similar, but in their same genre. So I get it. It's just an understanding that really can't be taught unless you put in time, work, you know, blood, sweat, and tears, because that's really what it is. Like, not to be super, grotesque, but it is blood sometimes. Like, our fingers get super callous. They hurt. Like, sometimes my fingers really do hurt. Like, they hurt. I can't even play because I practice so much. So that's our form of blood. You know, a singer's form of blood is losing their voice. That's a form of blood. So blood, sweat, and tears, put it in there and you get so much back. All right. Number six is this. You're letting this vast universe know that you are here. This probably sounds like some other points, actually. But you're letting this vast universe know that you are here and this is what you love, okay? So it's only going to send you opportunities to express that love. And, you know, God blesses the child that has its own. God helps the person that helps themselves. So, you know what I'm saying? You got to put it out there, and God gave you a gift. So it's only right to stir up that gift, right? And I used to hear this song a lot when I was a kid, stir up the gift. So for me, that means is to just hone that gift, hone your crafts to the point where you're good, where you're good enough to express yourself. Self-expression is so important. You get to a point where you can express yourself through it and where you can monetize it. You can make money off of it. That's what stirring up the gift is, because he gave you this talent. You know, don't be like the man with the talents, you know, that didn't use his one talent because he felt like he didn't get enough. Like, do the most with your talent. Like, be seen. Like, you got it, flaunt it. You know what I mean? It don't matter where you are. My seventh reason, this is for my guitar players and my vocalists as well, and anybody that plays instruments. I hope it's all type of musicians here, okay? But you learn your instrument better. Like me playing this guitar, me practicing this guitar, I learned the fretboard. And that sound like duh, but no, like I learned it. Like, I know that this is A, D, G, C, E, E, A. Okay. And I know that because this is E, this is F sharp, C, D, G, A. I know how to easier move around, y'all. It just looked like I didn't know what I was doing, but I know how to do it. Like, I don't even have to think about it because I get it. Like, when I'm playing, I don't have to think because I practice so much. I know my fretboard. I know if it's high, where I'm going to go. If it's low, if it's a middle tone. I just understand music just that much more. You just get to learn your instrument better. So practice, and yeah, but that goes into like also putting your covers up, because like I said, when you plan, our first reason, when you plan to put a cover up, you practice, 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 practice. And because you're practicing, 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 you learned, just by consequence, your voice and your instrument. Your voice is an instrument, your instrument is a voice. Okay. Number 8. Now this was said by one of my faves, Ed Sheeran. He wasn't the first to talk about this, but I feel like he talked about it super, like, just fun and just super plain, that it made sense. You have to put in your 10,000 hours. Nobody is beyond that or above that. We all have to do our 10,000 hours. Now, how does covers and, how does posting covers go into that? Well, you can post a cover that's just a minute long, right? But how long did it take you to learn that cover song? It took you hours. It could take you days. So that time is contributing to that 10,000 hours. And just to be a master at anything, you have to put in your 10,000 hours. So you get used to performing. You become a better performer just putting out covers, and you can start to critique yourself too as well. But you have to put in the time. Time is so important with anything, right? If you put in time into a relationship, and you just get better results. Like you get to know your partner better. You get to spend more time. You get to figure out what's your favorite places, what y'all like to do with y'all time together. You know what I mean? And just like that. So putting your 10,000 hours and practicing is that. And then you're contributing to your 10,000 hours as a performer, because that's what a cover video is. It's a performance. I don't care how stiff you are, you're still performing. Well, not just, but I watched a documentary of a guy that performed with his back turned to the audience because he was so stage fright. So you should watch that documentary. I'm going to put it in this video, actually. Now, I love Etta James performing, even though she can be both, but I just love when she's sitting there singing and just letting out her soul. So put in that time. You are not above your 10,000 hours, okay? Number 9, you are building your Artistries work ethic, okay? So now you're building how you work as an artist. Like, what does your artist self do? Does your artist self, record? They have to record in the morning. They have to set aside this time to work on dance steps. It's just like how Beyonce, she has a work ethic. I'm sure her work ethic consists of working out, going to vocal training, going to the studio, filming for videos, things like that. And also, her doing her business stuff. So you know what I mean? So you build your own work ethic every time that you practice and you put out a product, or content to be consumed. You're building that. Like, you may have your cover scheduled for every Wednesday or Sunday. That's part of your work ethic, to work on those things so they can be ready by that day that you chose. And work ethic is super important. And for me, that's something I had to develop, and I'm still developing. And for a long time, I honestly shut out the world to just work on stuff. And then I just realized that that's probably not the healthiest thing to do. And I'm actually still learning that, right? Because I can create all day. Like, I have a job and stuff like that, and that takes a lot of my time. But if I didn't have it, I would just always be working on music or riding bikes or just going to the beach. Like, that's just things I like to do. But your work ethic, you cultivate balance, right? If it's a healthy work ethic, you have to have time in there to do more things than just your music, and you have to see deadlines and stuff like that. Maybe you have blocks of time where you can do certain things. So that's always good, especially for people with ADHD and they're artists. But yeah, just put those covers out. You know what I mean? All right. And my last point is 10. 10 is our last point. And this is just being able to commit to finishing a song, and committing and finishing that song is just the most beautiful thing. You feel so accomplished and you feel like you can depend on yourself, And it's so good when you know that you're dependable for you, by you. So when you say you're going to do something, you do it, you just rock with yourself even more. So those are my 10 reasons why you should post your cover videos. So please do it. Like, stop saying tomorrow.